After the release and massive success of Behind Enemy Lines, as well as a lesser but a still successful expansion, Pyro Studios' stocks have gone sky high, and work on a sequel, something that everyone at the company, specifically the head of the studio, wanted to do, has immediately started. Budget got bigger, studio increased in personnel, and ideas poured out of every orifice. Game needed to be bigger, longer, and uncut.
Summer 1940. Incapable of resisting the overwhelming advance of the German blitzkrieg, Poland, Norway, Denmark, Belgium, Holland and France are brushed aside within a matter of months. While the German army is getting ready to invade the island, Allied command is desperately trying to come to terms with its situation. An audacious plan is approved for the creation of a special unit of elite men. Only the best, the most highly trained, only men of courage. Their mission? Become the vanguard of the Allied troops, the spearhead of the counter-offensive that must lead to the defeat of the Third Reich. The Commandos were born.
With all that being said, hello everyone, today's game is somewhat of a childhood favorite of mine. Have you ever wanted to lead a team of experts in their field, the field being covert operations and murder, going undercover as an enemy commander or a woman? Strap in, as this sequel got you covered in all fronts.
I can do this.
Commandos 2 Men of Courage was released in September 20th, 2001.
Oh no.
Oh no. That's either the best or the worst time to release a covert operations squad game, where the objective is usually to blow shit up. No wonder the genre is dead, it's fucking cursed. And my video's timing couldn't be more perfect considering 9/11 2 is in the works. Shows you how long this video took to make. Similar to the previous title, it was released for PC and consoles. Oh boy, I sure hope it's another bootleg Sega Genesis release. Sadly, no. It was released for, at the time, modern consoles like the original Xbox and PlayStation 2. There was also a Sega Dreamcast version of the game planned. I gotta give them props for ambition. Here's a quick review of the console ports. They bad or they fine. It depends on how much you're willing to compromise to play what amounts to a strategy game on your console. All I can say is that they tried, and somehow they still did better than most modern devs. Would anyone have guessed that a game released after 9/11 would have more troubles playing on modern systems than a game released in a Paleozoic era? It opens, but it forces the resolution, and for some strange reason, the menu and FMVs are always 640 by 480. So even if you change the resolution and options, pressing escape in game throws Windows into a frenzy fit. So the usual shamanistic dances are required. Get a copy of Commandos 2 Original. Steam, GOG, other means are all valid. All of them should normally open on modern systems. Except Windows 11. Somehow that one is just cursed and just keeps getting worse with every update. If you're okay with playing in 640 by 480, then playing is not a problem. And if it opened once before, it should play completely fine. If you want higher resolutions, 1280 by 720 is default max on Steam's non-legacy version, but you will have a screamer every time you press escape or end the mission. Actually, that's just true for every resolution that's not 480p. Also, GUI doesn't scale after 720p. Now, if you want even higher resolution like 1080, good luck. There are some magic dances you can do, but none of them address the main issue. If the game doesn't open, enable direct play and change the high DPI settings, override DPI to application. And if that doesn't work, now you have empirical evidence that God just doesn't like you enough. Or I guess you could try the HD version. Game had a remaster release in 2020, but it's...
If we get rid of the commanding officer, the rest will not be able to offer.
How does one explain? It's as playable as vinegar is drinkable. It's a bit buggy, controls somehow became worse, maybe even worse than the console version. HD textures look AI sharpened, everyone loves that look, and all the Nazi symbolica was removed. Which just means that all the 1941 to 1944 Germanic soldiers are not part of the Nazi Germany, and we now kill innocent mercenaries contracted by the non-Nazi party of Nazi Germany, all part of the inclusivity movement. You know, in case we offend the Nazis. There is actually a good way to play Men of Courage in 2 or even 4K. Instead of the bastardized official HD version, try the unofficial HD project. Depending on when this video comes out, your experience might vary, so take this part with a grain of salt. I had problems with the website, the project itself, and now it's even not free to boot. However, if the website opens and you're willing to pay a small fee, this is the best way to play Commandos 2 in high resolution. Yeah, the menus are like 60% empty space, everything looks like it's made of clay, and it's so bright. It's so bright! One might mistake this for chromatic aberration. However, pressing escape doesn't make my Windows crash, neither does finishing a mission. Also, I don't know if it's a me problem, but my mouse sensitivity is off, it just feels floaty. It's hard to explain, but if you play original and the mod, you would be able to feel it. It's still the best way to play the original Commandos 2, so whatever. I am infinitely more familiar with Commandos 2 compared with any other game in the series. I so wanted to call this Pro Commandos. I really struggled with not doing that. I really wanted to call this Pro Commandos. Because of that, I'm way better at this game than the first one. It's also way easier. Commandos 2 is pretty much Commandos 1, but better and easier. So the setting is the same as behind enemy lines. You're still an officer who has been tasked with commanding the Commandos unit, commanding them through various locations during World War II, sabotaging the enemy behind their lines, rescuing people and doing other stuff.
Thank you. We were thinking you'd given up the search. We have to rescue our captain.
Game has no real story other than setting up the stage for a mission.
The whole of Western Europe, the German army concentrates all its efforts in the war on Britain, the last bastion against the expansion of the Third Reich.
Not that the game needs anything more. Once again, get briefed, see your objectives, look at the map, and go ahead in solving the puzzle. Unlike Commandos 1 though, while still having access to same-ish options for progressing, in-game missions feel truly unique and no two main missions feel the same. I wonder if there is even a point in covering all of the missions. Wait, this video is how long? I'm doing a guide again, okay. Man of Courage did many improvements on the BLT's gameplay. In short, the problems were ironed out and new additions addressed the rest of the issues found in Commandos 1. The good game that was already great and just became even better. The improvements start even before the gameplay. Here's where I put the options menu has actual options joke. I now need to shoehorn a Yakuza reference and we can be done. Unlike last time, you actually can choose which mission to play and easily replay them. The password system is still here, although its only use is skipping to a specific mission. A difficult choice is a fine addition. Here's what the guide says the difficulty changes. And here's how the difference looks gameplay wise. Basically, more enemies, they spot you faster, they shoot faster and have higher damage, you shoot slower and your weapon's range is reduced. Behind Enemy Lines had 20 missions, Beyond the Call of Duty had 8, Man of Courage has 2 training missions and 10 main missions. You might think that the lower number of missions means the game is way shorter, that's not actually true. This time they decided to go with quality instead of quantity. Missions are way more involved, maps are bigger and more detailed. There's just a lot more to do and a lot more ways to do it.
We must clear this border post to allow our troops to pass through.
Now every mission starts with a briefing
If we get
from
rid
the
of the
commanders you
commanding
play as.
officer, the rest will not be able to offer any resistance.
Or sometimes the headquarters. Commandos 1 had singular tutorials for each commando. Commandos 2 has 2 training missions that don't actually explain anything. Console version actually has prompts that explain the mechanics
I was trained
fully,
for this.
but here you're just thrown in. Granted, the mission is easy peasy, but still. Map is once again quite useful. It shows both every single enemy that can be seen, as well as shows your objectives. One of the best things they changed are the notes. Notebook is not just here's a random hint spoiler, it's also wrong. It now properly tells you exactly what to do. Clicking on each of the objectives gives you more info and hints, as well as points you towards it using the yellow arrow. Secondary objectives are exactly that, so are clues. Another great thing is that objectives that you finished actually show up with a check mark, so you can easily track your progress. Okay, it's actual mission time. I feel embarrassed just trying to explain the tutorial. If you come in fresh from behind enemy lines, not seeing tiny fins of the spy makes you question how are we supposed to stealth the mission. Well, as part of the improvements, everyone was given access to their second hand to make a fist, but again only one. You now can knock enemies out, and if you tie them up, they are considered dead. However, unlike dead enemies, the bound ones can be unbound by their friends.
Tell me.
Game also
I
decided
was
to
trained
add
for
an
this.
inventory screen. Every character has their own inventory, which can be accessed by right-clicking the character's face at the bottom right. Everyone can carry everything, but only specific commandos can use some tools. The other
done.
important thing is F10 and F11. F10 shows you almost every interactable object on the map, inventories that you can access for loot, and something else, doors and hatches. F11 highlights enemies. Don't be shy using them. Some inventories can be hidden from view, and some enemies can be hard to see. Map is separated into two parts via the barbed wire. Just follow the objectives and you'll figure it out. You are a big boy. Just be aware that while you are on the cables, you are considered hidden, but as soon as you use the pole, it's as if you are standing right near it. Not that it matters in this mission. Tab is now the shortcut for showing field of view, because the shift key is now a multi-use for everything. Open storage, tying up knocked enemies,
Okay.
use a specific tool like lockpicks or wire cutters. It's an amazing thing, the shift key. You're required to get rid of all the enemies before mission is considered done. Mission is straightforward, I mean, yeah, it's a tutorial.
Okay, guys.
Welcome back, Tiny and Driver, but who cares for that, bozo? Our goal is to regroup with allies, use the radio and defend against the enemy attack. And somehow this mission shows almost all of the game's features, both new and returning. Where in the previous mission enemies were spread out and their amount was small, this time enemies cover each other better. But this still being a tutorial, there exists a clear path which enemies to take out first, which second, and etc, etc. Since the Rock was deemed too OP, he was removed. Instead, cigarettes got buffed to the Rock's status, where in Beyond the Call of Duty, cigarettes were meh because of their range, most enemies not carrying, and Rock completely overshadowing it. Now, Planet Blues attract most enemies, and they take their time picking the pack. Use them. Don't be shy in using them, there are plenty of cigarettes in each mission. Another big difference between Commandos 1 and 2, running now creates ripples in the space continuum, which in fact creates sound. To compensate, everyone's normal walking speed was buffed, I think. Another fun addition that is really useful is ability to stick to walls. This allows them to move along the wall and not be seen by the enemies in their outer view, as well as be invisible to the enemies above. A seemingly meaningless addition added for flavor just shows how much thought went into the game and game's mechanics. After clearing the starting area at the bottom and top of the stairs, you can see multiple hostiles to the right, which allows us to find another new addition to the game, the camera. Commandos 1 had only one angle from where the game could be played. This limitation made it so everything on the map had to face you, and if at any point you had to do something behind the wall or a building, it felt buggy. Last issue is still an issue, however, pressing Alt camera can now be rotated 90 degrees. In this mission it just helps to see one hidden guy behind the booth. The camera rotation allowed devs to expand the maps and add dimension to the environment. Clearing outside leaves us with a problem of finding the radio. Hint and mission intro showed a small room with an officer and a soldier, and this is another big addition, maybe the biggest. In the previous game, you could go inside the building just to hide, or if an enemy at any point saw you get in, to die. Men of Courage added actual interiors to the game, ranging from small booths to a full-fledged freaking castle with way too many rooms, and it's an amazing addition. Interiors are treated like its own map, connected to other maps through various entrances, doors, windows and trapdoors, as well as doorways which are not highlighted by F10, which is definitely never ever becomes an issue. Being hidden to you unless you are inside or peeking in, or through a hint. You can throw every type of grenade through these exits, which helps to clear them quickly. While peeking you can see inside, but be careful that the enemy don't see you, cause you peek with your full body sometimes. Mostly windows and mostly when looking from inside out.
We have intercepted a transmission. Group of enemies is fast approaching your position. An enemy tank has received orders to exterminate you all. Defend your position and destroy that tank.
Talking to allies in the field and contacting HQ shows us another two additions. Let's start with the most OP thing at it, allied soldiers. Immensely useful guys. Some of them have rifles with infinite ammo, which is already OP, because you can actually steal them. Yeah, you can just get an infinite ammo one-hit weapon with great range. And even with that being the case, it's still better to leave the weapons to the soldiers. Characters now have something called attack mode. Attack mode is a stance your units can be ordered to take, whereby any enemy who enters their cone of vision will be automatically be shot at.
Yep.
Works with any weapons available, but mostly will be used
Yeah.
with pistols or rifles. Pistols, because standard issue
Yeah.
gun has infinite ammo, and rifles, as I said before,
Yeah.
are an insta-kill. A funny oversight
Yeah.
or intentional laziness has to do with difficulty. As stated before, harder difficulty lowers the range of the rifle. However, attack mode's PISCON doesn't change, which makes attack mode rifle shoot way further
it
than
to me.
intended on highest difficulty. The first shot in attack mode happens instantly when the weapon is fully drawn, after which there is a delay. So allies are basically turrets that you can
Yeah.
move. Having them be in attack mode, they automatically shoot at everything within their line of sight
Yeah.
and drop their pack. Pack magically gives them plus 30 defense,
Yeah.
and you should always stay
Yeah.
prone, aka use
Yeah.
ground coverage.
Yeah.
That makes soldiers' hitbox
Yeah.
practically null. Since usually you get several of them at once, attack mode's only balance point does not apply en masse. Well, we cleaned the map without allies' help. Why should we use them? Well, the second edition. Some missions, only 4 actually, including this one, will have us defend a position against an incoming enemy attack. A neat button appears to signify an incoming invasion.
Okie
Before you
dokie.
press it, you should set up everyone.
wait.
You might be tempted to have
Yeah.
allies spread apart, have enemies come in and be shot away from the road. Don't bother. Put them a bit
Yeah.
away from the road, looking straight at where the
Ready.
road starts. Make sure every one of them is
Yeah.
in attack mode and have Inferno put an anti-tank mine
Yes,
on the
sir.
road and the remote bomb
I was
just
trained
in
for
case.
this.
Start the attack and have every enemy waltz in on their death. Sometimes the sniper can stay on the edge of the map, which makes your allies not see him, even if sniper's in the cone.
Okie
So you
dokie.
might need to manually deal with him. If you place the mine close enough, tank will almost instantly die, and if it doesn't, you still have the bomb. Mission cleared. It's only been 2 missions, both
Good.
tutorials, and I've talked about most of the game's mechanics. This just shows you how
Oi.
bad I am at pacing and how much new the game added. Most of these
Good.
additions stay throughout all of the future games in the genre.
Oi.
That's how significant this game is in the genre as a whole. Every stealth, real-time tactics genre is basically an improved or reskinned version of Commandos 2.
In May 1941, after subduing the whole of Western Europe, the German army concentrates all its efforts in the war on Britain. Britain, isolated from the continent, depends on supplies, especially weapons and fuel which arrive from the other side of the Atlantic. These supplies are growing ever more scarce. The German submarine fleet, the Wolfpacks, hounds the Allied convoys, which suffer enormous losses. La Palisse, located on the French coast near La Rochelle, is the most important German submarine base. It is the perfect base from which to carry out the deadly patrols. It is the U-boat's lair.
You copy me?
Go ahead, soldier.
I am facing the front now, sir.
I'm not sure if this mission is the best or the worst introduction to Commandos.
Hold on, it looks like there's one of us in there already.
It might be the best because of the next mission, but it also might be the worst because it's a pure stealth mission. The characters available to
I
us
was
in the
born
mission
for
don't
this.
start with weapons, can't tie enemies up, and there are no lethal weapons to find out in the open. Instead, this mission teaches us stealth,
I can do this.
night advantage, light, dogs, drugs, and Natasha.
Well, it's about time.
We are tasked with using our new guy to infiltrate the Navy base. Our goals are to steal the Enigma machine, use it to decipher a message, use
We
the
must
radio,
immediately inform HQ about this. It is of the greatest importance.
and go to sleep. Despite us starting on a boat, it's useless. Immediately ditch it and swim to the shore to contact our informant, the only woman in the game series. Nighttime immediately
there.
helps, since enemy soldiers now have a 3-stage field of view instead of the usual 2. In darkness, we can stand in the third range and not be spotted. The commander we have access to actually crawls extremely fast, so there is no point in not proning. Inside though, night doesn't exist. Knocking people out without tying them makes them run around after waking up, so be careful with that.
Okay. No. Ow!
After
Okay.
recruiting the seductors, mission actually opens up. The female spy is exactly that. She can safely walk through the map. Only officers and SS soldiers and running can make enemies see through her disguise. She can
Oh,
distract
man.
enemies by making them look at her, thus giving Lupin a free passage. Give Natasha a bottle. With that, she can also knock enemies out.
Ready,
Remember
there.
F10? Since missions from now on are big, there is a lot more containers to loot. Oh, look, something funny in a specific container. What's a puzzle piece? The guide said something funny about them. Like for
I was
example, every
born for
single
this.
non-training main mission contains puzzle pieces, and not once will an enemy carry a piece. These collectibles,
Going.
if fully collected,
Okay.
give you a pretty picture and access to a bonus mission. Which brings total amount of mission to
Alright.
21. No, I did not miscount 12 plus 10. You'll know by next time. They are hidden anywhere
I
you
am
have access
going
to.
there.
They are found in crates, cupboards, tables, and
Fine.
locked boxes. F10 is your best friend for this. Like I've said before, I'm not sure what to think about this mission. It's weird in many ways. It's quite compact, but because you can
I
only
can do
distract
this.
and temporarily knock enemies out, you can't really do a lot. It's also very straight and linear. As an intro to Commandos, it's maybe not great, as it doesn't show many of the best features that the game has. However, with the added context
turn.
of the next mission, it turns around into being great. After getting your companions, or just Natasha, Nightly Walk
Alright.
helps again. Since enemies are practically blind, both can
Yes.
easily move across the field. Be careful if you come too close to the gate. An enemy pooch can alert everyone. Lips can actually solo this part of the mission. Go inside buildings, loot every single container that glows, and continue forward until the canteen. If you checked any containers, you've definitely looted some sleeping pills, so combine them with the box of alcohol. After some time, you can steal the needed key. Now comes the interactivity part of the game.
What do we do with the general?
I will phone him and convince him to leave the office. But I'm not sure how long I will manage to distract him.
You can not use the telephone,
Okay.
but it's really hard. So instead, put Thief here, give him the keys you stole, use the phone
All
that
mine.
makes General leave his office.
Da 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 dun 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 dun. Your phone ringing. Your phone ringing.
Lupin moves in and
Okay.
lockpicks the safe.
We must immediately inform HQ about this.
Oh shit, a new mission. Now
I
here's the
was
funny
born
thing,
for
game
this.
puts quite a note on turning off the power to the fence.
Yep.
It's entirely skippable and not needed, however, you should turn off the lights. They are in the same building where Natasha initially
My
was,
turn.
so you can just turn off both. And getting to the radio can be done in multiple ways, all bad except the main door, but you know, there are options. The big gate requires someone on the
No.
inside, so point smooth. Telephone poles work like in Training
Out
1,
of
just
the
be careful
question.
not to get spotted. Or use keys that open the office, since they also open the door to the radio. Any character,
mine.
except the dog, can use the radio, after which you are instructed to go to sleep,
Fine.
and for the woman to skedaddle.
Fine. General Sir, do you copy me?
Go ahead.
The Nazis have captured an Allied submarine and its crew and are bringing it here.
Good Lord, we must rescue them. We will send the rest of the Commandos group to your position. They will arrive in the morning. They will need security papers. You'd better leave the base ASAP. Tonight's events will arouse the suspicion of the senior members of staff, and we can't allow them to discover you. And your comrade, the thief, must wait hidden inside the base.
Before mission ends, check
All
if you have
mine.
the full picture in the bonus mission. It's here in a big red book, and here is the location of all the puzzle pieces. Oh hey, merit's back. Unlike in Commandos 1, this merit is just for brownie points. Special missions are unlocked from the puzzle. I still will talk about it because once again it's stupid. In Commandos 1 there were 3 merit bars. 2 original ones, which counted mission time and damage taken, scored from 0 to 3 stars. And 1 added later, which counted everything and nothing, this time 0 to 6 stars. This time system is more involved and way more split. It's not any better. In fact, it might be worse. The faster you finish the mission, the more medals you get. It's the same as last time. Times are arbitrary and probably once again taken from beta testing results. However, difficulty changes the allowed MT, and if you really want to know, it's possible to find time if you are ready to decompile the .mis file. Mission briefing and notebook sometimes give specific secondary objectives. By completing them, this box is ticked, similar to Commandos 1 merit score, but wherein behind enemy lines you could take a surprising amount of damage and still get full score, here taking almost any damage, even a fist hit that did literally no damage, still counts and demerits the score. Any character with a visible health bar counts, so even special characters' damage counts towards this. This one encompasses a lot. Every time an enemy confirms your existence, this score gets lower. Only full detections count though. They either need to spot
That's it.
or hear you, after which they shout or shoot at you, this merit starts dropping. Allied soldiers count for this, by the way. Enemies that are knocked out but don't find anyone after waking up, investigating noise or footprints, and somehow alarms being set off don't count towards this. It's entirely possible to miss being seen by a random poster at the far who, because you one frame hid, did not raise a ruckus, but counted towards you being detected. Or more likely, an enemy turned around while you were sneaking behind but immediately got their teeth kicked in. Wow, with such a name this must be simple. So, I was wrong. Every single room counts. Partitioned rooms count as one area, and outside also counts as one area. This would be fine if not for the bugs. In order for an area to be tagged as visited, sometimes two of your commandos have to visit it. What's even worse, areas visited by the Green Beret or Spy sometimes don't count. In certain missions, they have no effect on the score, but in the others they do. After more thorough testing, here's what I found. Spy never counts, Natasha always counts, and Tiny is half and half. A truly great addition. 3 steps forward, 1 step back. This stat is split into 3 parts. This one refers to dead or otherwise disabled enemies. It doesn't matter how you did it, just as long as they are out of commission. Neutralized enemies without shooting. This refers to enemies you kill by means other than gunfire, specifically knives and lethal injection. Neutralized enemies without killing. This refers to enemies you knock out and then tie up. If you truly care, go only for the last one, since the first 2 will get the same score. This method just saddens me. This makes you go around the map and bonk everyone in the head and pile them in the back corner somewhere. But some enemies are impossible to not snipe or blow up, so God only knows if you get 5 stars. Depending on the mission, this merit is okay, but it's still a pain in the ass. This merit also can be seen in the same place where the time can be found. It's the total amount. It's literally an average function rounded down. 5 stars or max merit can only be gotten from every single merit score being 5 stars. And to top it all off, 2 missions don't even allow for 5 stars. This mission is actually one of them, 4 stars is max. Since it's just for brownie points, merit can be fully skipped. You know, I never actually cared for the medals before. I definitely collected all the puzzle pieces, but never got a max merit. I mean, I am pretty good at this game, and I'm sure it's going to be a fun challenge to get max merit. Foreshadowing is a narrative device.
Delicate work.
This really seems like a beta mission. We're back to training 1 area, only now we have to escape via the car. It's harder than the original training mission, but also dumber. It's all about timing now. Correctly timed when to use the pole, and everything else is the same as training 1. Why does Sapper have a knife? No one here can use it. It's a good thing merit is not a factor for bonus missions, so you can have as much fun as you want.
Yes.
Yes?
Hey, I know this place.
Okay, let's go through the plan again. Sure. I deactivate the underwater mines. We get the keys to the prison.
We rescue the prisoners, open the hangar door, and out we go.
Remember how I had mixed conclusions about Night of the Wolves? It's because of this mission. It's amazing. It's insanely hard for a first real mission. It's almost impossible to get 5 stars merit. It's really great and shows exactly why Commandos 2 is the peak. We start at the point we left off previous. Thief is Yippee and Woman has run off. A trio of Inferno, Fiends and Spies start at the exact same spot Thief started in the previous mission. And Green Beret is circling the skies. I assume he's just invincible flying in the sky. Mission asks a lot from us and gives us multiple ways of achieving it. There are a lot, and I mean a lot, of random containers that actually contain useful things, and about as many truly useless ones. It's one of the steepest difficulty curves I know, and yet because gameplay is so fine-tuned, by giving you multiple equally viable options to approach any problem, it's peak, it's pure fun. Mission starts with railroading us a bit. We're expected to use fins first to clear the way of the mines, and by diving underwater, creep in on some enemies close to the shore to quietly take them out. Then we are open to 3 different ways to start that. Game nudges us towards starting from the bottom left or top right, where we use Sapper to cut the wires and disarm the mines, clearing the way towards an officer from whom we steal a uniform for the spy. However, we can also go the way of the thief and start near the torpedo warehouse. That is actually the best way to start if you are speedrunning or 5-star meriting the mission. Bottom left is what game really nudges us towards. All clues and objectives directly point to the south part of the map, as well as gives us a really cool way to enter premises by using the car and papers. However, it's a trap. Somehow there are too many guards and so start on the east side instead. Way less guards and everything's closer. Cut the wires, detonate yourselves on the mine and maybe several times just to get a point across. Bait the guards and the officer to take his uniform. Congrats, Spy is now a playable character. Once again, SS soldiers and officers will always see through a disguise, as well as running, so be careful with that. Sadly, Spy is not allowed to use his fist or the infinite poison from Commandos 1. He was nerfed, however he can still tie enemies up if they are knocked out by someone else. You can always just shoot them instead. There are a good chunk of enemies outside the compound which I've never even interacted with, especially that tank. I think I've destroyed it only once in my various playthroughs, since there's no objective nor a need to interact with it at all. Everyone has a whistle to call the dog whenever Whiskey is present. Calling the dog works from any place. Whiskers will run to whoever sounds the whistle, if he is not blocked by a door and it's not only accessible via the ladder. Whiskey can open any door that connects rooms, but not doors that are inside the areas. After getting the uniform, there are multiple ways to proceed forward. As a kid, I always went straight for the keys to save Marines to do a funny.
Oh, thank you. We were thinking you'd given up the search.
So
awaiting
remember
orders.
allies in training too. After rescuing the sailors and giving them a weapon, they become a turret. Sadly, they only accept pistols. However, don't let the imprint fool you. They also accept Mausers, even without ammo. They just need the Luger. 4 pistols is enough to create an army. 3 to cover the door and 1 to look out the window. When window guys start shooting, enemies will swarm the cell and die from being pepper sprayed. 3 is enough to stun lock or kill without taking damage. I swear they used to take rifles. I feel like I'm going insane. I can't even check the original. It actually just crashed after a while.
We have to rescue our captain.
After you rescue the allies, they give more tasks for us. To save the captain and to blow up the torpedo warehouse.
Let's destroy the hangar while they fix their torpedoes. This'll disable them for a while.
Saving the captain is easy, but he will also give more tasks.
I hope the Nazis didn't dismantle my submarine. Ah, you've stolen the Enigma machine. Now we must get the codes for it. They're in the next room. We must also destroy all the fuel deposits at once. Don't forget, we must destroy all the anti-aircraft guns too.
To steal the Enigma codes and to blow up the fuel tanks and anti-air guns. We actually don't need to blow anything up in this mission, those are side objectives. So yeah, mission actually asks quite a lot from us. Disarm mines, only the 2 from the top counts towards the completion. Use the radio and call Tiny, any radio will do and the Butcher can drop off anywhere. The captain, the hangar door switch and the Enigma codes are in the same place, all of which are required. After which, everyone needs to get into the submarine and mission ends. Sounds straightforward? Well, it kind of is, if you play it just for fun and your goal is to find all the puzzle pieces not caring for merit. Methodically going through the map is challenging but fun. Multiple snipers and guards that cover each other, big open spaces with numerous enemies, the fucking SS barrack. God, I hate this building. If you only do the main quest, there aren't even a lot of hard places at all. However, if you want a juicy 5-star merit score, strap in. First of all, secondary objectives are all across the map. However, you don't need to wait until you get the task. If it's completed before the task is issued, it just automatically counts as soon as you get the task. Map has a lot of explosives, including grenades, timed and remote, even a bazooka. We especially want remote explosives, specifically 5, which you plant here, 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 here and here. The warehouse explosion is kinda funny, because it doesn't actually trigger an alarm. Well, it does trigger an alarm, but this alarm just doesn't do anything. I guess it's ruled as an accident, so that one can be detonated at any point, and should be, because of the guys on top being a nuisance. Second is the problem of time and visited areas. Strap in. We only have 35 minutes. 35 freaking minutes. That's extremely low. Even when following a guide, it's still impossible. And visited areas are somehow even worse. Getting Spy to go around the map and visit every single place is fine, if that counted. You will be taking Thief around with the Spy, just going in and out of every single room. The mission has a lot of small useless guard bunkers, and rooms that have literally nothing in them. During all that, you need to knock out around 125 enemies that stay knocked out by the end. There are a total 182 enemies, and I might have counted some twice. And unless I somehow missed a whole barracks worth of enemies, that's 70% of the enemies that need to be KO'd. GameFAQ has a comprehensive guide on step-by-step things you need to do to get 5 stars. However, it's really involved and technical. Here are some tips and bugs I used to do this. The bestest bug from the previous title is now a feature. Isn't that how the best gameplay is made? In Commandos 1, a disguised spy entering last into any vehicle made that vehicle be seen as friendly, which allowed us to have fun and do a bit of trolling. Commandos 2 allows everyone to drive normal vehicles, which makes the driver's point of being really hilarious. A disguised spy driving makes the vehicle not be shot at, most of the times. A small car is useless and only helps the disguised spy. Any other commando will be immediately disposed of, along with the spy. A truck, on the other hand, allows spy to move everyone without problem. Just make sure you give spy the papers you've stole if you want to get inside. Trucking around the map is quite useful because of numerous snipers who do not see through the French disguise but see through anyone else's. Another really useful exploit has to do with remote explosives. Only the sapper can use explosives, but going around the map making him plant bombs takes too much time. However, since we can drop anything from our inventories, there is an exploit. Sapper can plant the explosives and someone else can pick it up already primed. This makes Spooky a jihadist. Make Inferno plant the bomb, make someone pick it off the ground. When near an objective, open the inventory and drag and drop the bomb. Voila! Sapper can still detonate it. Be careful with this bug, it might not work sometimes. If some of the explosives don't blow up, even though the detonate button is active, try reloading and pressing them in a different order. That sometimes helps, and sometimes it just doesn't. Other than that, just be ready to do everything fast and visit every area. Look out for hidden rooms. Once again, F10 helps a ton. Save frequently, like almost every single enemy kill frequently. We need to escape on the sub. We just have to get everyone in. There are enemies on the sub, by the way, and there are 2 puzzle pieces on the sub also. So be sure to check that out before leaving.
Yeah.
And here are all the puzzle pieces. I'm going to be showing the merit screen for each mission, since I decided to prove my worth. Since it can only be seen at the end of the mission, if checked after the fact in the menu, the amount of loads resets to 0. I'll be editing the real amount I got, if necessary. It also shows the best of all the attempts, so despite the time here saying 20 minutes, the 5-star merit one was something like 34-56. The 20 minutes attempt was me running around the map, checking every single room and counting enemies, and then taking out enough and ending the mission to see the cutoff point for merit. Both minds. What more does a girl need? It's pretty tight, 1 minute is not a lot. Unlike in Commandos 1, the sequel's driving is actually great. It's responsive and very precise. Mouse controlling cars allows for very tight drifting. However, for this mission, mouse won't cut it. Only in the manual it mentions that by pressing shift, vehicles go faster, boats included, and you can use arrow keys. Buoys, bios. The buoys, the bios, the floaty things in the water slow you down and you can't skip a part of the track. There are invisible checkpoints. Go get him.
May 1941. The sinking of Allied ships by German submarines continues to increase, reaching the record number of 700,000 tons. The area is under the constant patrol of German destroyers and submarines, which also count on the air support of units stationed in Norway, Denmark, and northern Germany. The Reich zealously protects these waters.
Oh yeah, I always forget this mission is actually a continuation of the previous two. It always slips my mind because the previous two connect too well. Our guys decide to be very smart and go duke it out in the cold. They all got captured, except the sapper, who courageously escaped.
Good on you, Sapper.
Marine overslept, I assume, and now has to save them all. Mission sounds simple at first, but once again more
At your
objectives
service.
get added as you play through. We start on the sub from the previous mission. We start with only a knife and a whole lot of containers containing random bullshit. Since this is a snow map, we get introduced to snow clothes. This is actually the first and the last snow map. If it's snowing in the mission, your commandos will have a meter when outside, similar to a stamina one, but green instead of red. And if they're not wearing snow clothes or an enemy uniform when outside, after a while they start taking damage. Snow clothes actually don't take space in inventory. Once picked up, they are immediately used unless the unit is already wearing a piece. We actually don't need anything from the containers. However, do take a barrel, grenades, poison, diving gear, and a trusty pack of smokes. It's our little secret that will help us later. Outside the sub is when the mission really starts. The best way is to clean out the top of the sub. And after putting on the suit, jumping on the side of walruses and going around that way to connect with the sapper.
I'm going. I'm going. I'm going. Excellent. I thought I was the only one that got away.
Then clean your way towards the green beret. Officer behind the building has the keys. Now is about the time a normal playthrough really differs from a merit one. Normally we recruits use the balloons across the ship, get explosives, and then infiltrate the U-boat, where we then open the cell, get the spy and the thief.
Yeah.
We should inform headquarters that we have a complete Enigma machine.
Get more missions to blow stuff up, contact HQ, and save the captain again. Then it's just as simple going through the various levels of the ship, planting explosives, and finally exfiltrating the premises back to the sub. However, if you're going for merit, you should split 3 ways. Diver should just put on a suit and go underwater to visit all the underwater areas. Use F10 to see where cave entrances are and rotate the camera if you can go in. While Diver is exploring, Tiny should get the keys that were used to save him and pick up an officer uniform. Inferno, meanwhile, slowly creeps towards the glacier with explosives, and Tiny can start infiltrating the boat. They both should have a pack to bite enemies, and you're going to split your attention between the 3 of them. It's actually not that hard once you get into a rhythm. Once Inferno can get the explosives, take the 2 remote bombs and grenades. Ship has some special rooms that are easily missed. 3 gun rooms, 2 on the east and 1 on the west end. The middle one has a patrol in it, whose sapper can kill with a grenade from the outside. Then Inferno should go the same way as Tiny went and plant the 2 remote bombs near generators. At this point, mission goes as normal, except after Marine is done with the underwater, bring him out and put him in the radio room and move some of the knocked out enemies away from the engine, so they stay knocked out. Once again Spy, and I'm pretty sure Tiny don't count for VA in this mission. Spy definitely doesn't count, and Tiny counts in some rooms and some he just doesn't. 40 minutes, 80 KOs is the cutoff point, which compared to the previous mission is a breeze.
Yes.
And here are the puzzle piece locations.
It's no good. I can't shoot him from here. This sniper knows how to hide.
Oh hey there, Sniper. A bit early, you're literally in the next main mission. This mission is actually great. Well, it would be if not for the middle, the end, and close to the end. And objectives lying to you. First part is great. Bait enemies one by one to open up a path forward. Classic gameplay that you know and love.
This is more.
And after depopulating the first island, we need to move to the second one using the amphibicar. And that's when the mission comes from behind enemy lines to beyond the Call of Duty. There are actually two snipers, so Duke after showing up immediately lies. First one can be sniped from the shore. You can wait a bit and some more enemies will come to check the body, whom you can also snipe. Just remember to leave one bullet for the other sniper. Second island starts awful, with the sniper being in an amazingly bad position. Getting rid of grenadiers is great, and not dying from the gas and sometimes even molotovs is a cool feature that stemmed from Pyro Studios somehow freaking up the hitboxes of enemies sitting on a chair or leaning or looking out the window.
It's all mine.
After clearing out the map, we are tasked with escaping. Objective points towards the track. It's a lie, you actually need to use the machine. That was annoying.
Huh?
This was only the third mission, and I've already wasted like 40 minutes. I've decided to split this video, because the full one is going to be like an hour 30, if not longer. I already have everything ready for part 2, just need to edit it all together, and maybe re-record some lines. Either way, I hope that's going to take less than a month.
Okay.
Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, remember to like and subscribe. It's been fun going through Commandos 2 and dissecting it, as well as trying to get max rank. I honestly think they just forgot to add the one here. There's no way 35 minutes is even close to a fair time. Stay tuned for part 2, but for now, see you all next time.